Hello and welcome to the Visionary Leaders Community Call. My name is Arin Fugate, and I'm one of the founding members of this beautiful community. We connect every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and we chat about things that we love so much, the doTERRA essential oils and wellness products. If you are live, welcome to the call. If you're listening to the replay on our podcast, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're watching on YouTube, hello over there. So you're going to want to check out our website, hellovisionary.life. We have years and years of archived goodies there for you. You can also sign up for our newsletter so you stay in the know, and text alerts. So you get a text message 30 minutes before we go live on this call so that you can join us. Today, we're going to be talking about lasting vitality. So this idea of pro-aging. Just before we hit record, one of the lovely ladies on the call was saying that her eyebrows are growing in dark instead of the gray or white hair that had been growing previously. We're going to dive into why this is happening and everything that is amazing about NMN, one of the ingredients in the doTERRA Advantage product. But before we dive into that, we have Aisha McLaughlin here to lead us through a grounding meditation. Please take it away, Aisha.
Hello, everyone live, everyone listening to the podcast. Welcome, welcome. So happy you're here. Today, we're going to talk about, and we're going to have a little bit of a meditation with the essential oil blend called Citrus Bloom. So if you have Citrus Bloom handy, go ahead and grab it, rub some on your wrist crease, your elbow crease, give that a few deep inhales. This is one of my all-time favorite blends from doTERRA. One of the reasons I really love it is it has the calming groundedness of magnolia and Roman chamomile and lavender. And then it has this like wonderful, uplifting sparkle and energy of wild orange and grapefruit. So yummy, yum. Give that another sniff. If you're comfortable and you're not driving, please sit back a little bit and gently close your eyes. If you like, you can place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Just connect with your breath for a moment. Let yourself arrive and settle. For this little meditation, we're going to take the support and the energy of this glorious season we're in, spring. So in your mind's eye, picture some spring growth. Maybe it's a small fiddlehead on the side of your hiking path, a daffodil, a clover, some grass. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. But we're just going to tune into this energy, the energy of rebirth, the energy of our connection with our pure self, your own divine consciousness, which is unlimited energy, always there for us. This is a way for us to spark our own creativity, our flow, our connection with ourself and with others. And it's a way of clearing out cobwebs of shoulds, has to, judging ourselves, any of that negativity, that can get put aside and we can tap into our pure, higher self energy, which spring is a wonderful season for remembering this. And just for the last moment here, we're going to call to mind a vision you have for yourself. Something you are longing to attract into your life. Maybe it's something you have, you want more of, or maybe it's something you don't have at all. Just let yourself hold this in your heart space. And then when you're ready, you can take your palms together. You're going to rub them together vigorously, create some heat. And then place your palms over your eyes and cover your third eye with your hands. Just letting the energy from the rub of your palms gently land on your eyes and face. And take a deep breath in together. And a long, smooth exhale. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aisha. That was beautiful. So we are going to turn the call over now to Aisha Harley and Dr. Josie Schmidt. And they're going to talk to us about this incredible product that we have from doTERRA now. Many of us have been taking it since last September and seeing incredibly profound results. So let me know. I'm going to turn it over to you, Aisha, and let me know when you want the PowerPoint.
You can go ahead and pull it up. Hello, everyone. Aisha here. I am really excited about the presentation today. Our MetaPWR metabolic line was released at convention in October, and I have been taking it daily since then. Before that time, I had never heard of NMN or NAD+, or any of these things that we're going to talk about today. And I have since then been doing a deep dive because I have been so blown away by the results that I have experienced personally, and also seen so many of you experience, that I have just wanted to know more. And so I compiled this presentation from different data points that I have gathered from my own research to give you a better understanding of the benefits of NMN and the reason why we want to take this on an ongoing basis. Now, I am not a doctor. I am just someone that likes to use the product and experiment on myself. So I am very excited to be joined today by Dr. Josie Schmidt, who's a naturopathic doctor and also a good friend of mine. And I have learned so much from her through the years. And so she is going to be able to share her doctor expertise with us, and I will share more my experience just as a daily user of MetaPWR. So today specifically, we're really going to focus on the powerful effects of NMN specifically. So go ahead and move to the next slide, and Dr. Josie is going to share with us exactly what is NMN.
All right, we're waiting for that next slide. There we go. It's a fancy PowerPoint. Hi, everyone. Dr. Josie here. So this is not, people are like, what is this? What is this NMN? It's so amazing. Don't get caught up so much. I like to say, don't get caught up so much in what it is versus let's get concerned about what it does. But if you really want to know what it is it is a coenzyme. And people are like, what's that? Think about enzymes. They make things happen in the body, right? They're catalysts. So it stands for nicotinamide mononucleotide. No, you don't have to remember that. Just remember NMN. And it's a molecule that naturally is occurring in all of life. So at this molecular level, it's a ribonucleotide. Some people call it a coenzyme. It's a basic structural unit of RNA. I think that's really what you need to know. Like the what is it? What it does is it's a direct precursor to essential molecule nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, another coenzyme. People are like, what's NAD? Similar thing, but what it does is the important thing. These are small, naturally occurring molecules that are everywhere in our bodies. And as NAD is the big ticket item, NMN is the thing that we can get into our bodies, because we can't get NAD into our bodies without an IV, right? It's not absorbable, but we can get the precursor, the NMN, in, and then it turns into it. Our bodies are able to, if it's a well-absorbed nutrient, we've heard this before, I'm going to talk about this, we can turn it into this NAD, which is considered a key component in all of our living cells. Okay, so Aisha, you want me to read this? And people are like, okay, why do I care about NAD? I haven't heard of NAD before. Well, NAD does a lot of things, y'all. I'm going to read from here some of the things that are happening that we know. And one of the primary reasons is because of this NAD in our MetaPWR Advantage. It's promoting healthy biological aging and improving health span, activating our longevity genes. Think about telomeres, sirtuins, those kind of things. RNA, DNA, improves cognitive function. Your brain, hello, supports lean muscle and connective tissue, all of your ligaments and joints and things that start to break down and cause you discomfort as you age, and improving skin elasticity and firmness, making a lot of things look younger and firmer and in better health. That's what you're getting when you're getting NMN turning into NAD in our bodies. All right, let's go to the next slide. This conversation, I don't know that it's come up enough, and I wanted to bring it up because most of us are aware of the LLV and the kind of learning curve, which stands for the Lifelong Vitality Pack, of our groundbreaking, amazing supplemental nutrients that all of us take for nutrition in our cells, right? Getting nutrition at that cellular level. And the conversation we have about the LLV is that when you compare the RDA levels to levels that are with synthetic vitamins and minerals, right? Because the LLV is not synthetic, it is a very specialized delivery form in a yeast extract. So our body is taking it in not as a synthetic nutrient, but as food. And our body is metabolizing it and absorbing it 100%. I mean, in a completely different level. So, but when you actually, that's why I say it's apples and oranges. When you look at the label, it looks like there's small amounts of things like vitamin C and vitamin B12 and folic acid. You're like, wait a minute, these synthetic nutrients are so much higher. Isn't that better? And we say, no, it's not. You're bombarding your cells with those high amounts. So some of it, just a little bit of it, will get in. And then your body has to deal with all those extra synthetic amounts of vitamins and minerals. Whereas when you take a whole food, bioavailable source of nutrients, you don't need as much, and most of it is getting in, and your body is absorbing it correctly and not having to deal with all of the extra. Same thing is going on here with MetaPWR. Yeah, MetaPWR is a right now it is a what is doTERRA calling it, Aish? It's a proprietary formula. That's what I was looking for. So look at everything that is in here. All of these ingredients are here to support primarily the main function of the NMN and the NADH. Not to be confused. I know there's all these N acronyms, but think of NADH as similar to NMN. It's pushing this pathway of NAD in your body. You're getting two precursors to NAD in your body to build up that NAD. And everything else here are high-level polyphenols, antioxidants, and coenzymes and precursors to help support that process. And the NMN is in a similar yeast extract. So it's a naturally derived NMN. It is not considered synthetic. Everything else we see on the market is considered synthetic that we can see so far. This is a very different form. It is coming in an extremely bioavailable fashion. And then you have this NADH, which is this other precursor of NAD, coming in an equally bioavailable form. It has chlorophyll around it and these plant fats. So it's very hard to absorb. And that's why you actually have to, we say you need to shake or stir the MetaPWR Advantage. It's because of the NADH. You need to get those plant fats, and you'll see a little bit of green flecks sometimes in the powder. That's what that is. You need to get those activated. We have these very high levels of absorption happening. So we have a whole complex of 400 milligrams of all of this. We don't know yet the amount of specific NMN or NADH. It's a proprietary formula that they are working with. But what we do know from our history with doTERRA is they know what they're doing. And just like the LLV, they have put all of these non-synthetic, but synergistic ingredients together to give us an even more powerful result than the standard clinical results that we're going to show you today, because there's not a lot of research out. So Aisha did some amazing, shout out to Aisha, some amazing research looking into NMN, mostly NMN research into different companies and different studies about what we can know about NMN. But please know that this formula is probably more synergistic and you're getting more bioavailability. All right.
Yes, next slide. We are actually so excited because doTERRA is doing a lot of our own research. And I know in time, more and more of that research is going to be coming out. And so a lot of the research that I've gathered today is from other studies around NMN that we're just using for the educational purposes. Now, one thing I do want to address really quick, because I think it's really important, is we are talking about NMN and how that affects our NAD+ levels. But I just want to take a moment to talk about what is NAD+. And I'm going to give you my layman's terms, and Josie, you can correct me if I'm speaking incorrectly. But the way that I think of NAD+ is it's that molecule in every single cell that is the energy force. It's the energy driving the cell. It's like if you put car or gas into your car, it's what makes the car move, right? Without NAD+, we would die. Like, it is that essential to our well-being. We would die. And we'll show you some numbers later in the presentation. But as we age, that NAD+ declines, and that is what leads to aging. The discovery of this was actually equivalent, they're saying equivalent to the discovery of antibiotics in regards to information that we have now that we can use to age more gracefully and age more healthily. I mean, we're all getting older, but it does not mean that we have to decline in our cognitive performance or in our quality of life. So the things that we do now are going to impact how we age, and keeping our NAD levels high is going to be a total game changer. So I just really want you to get that piece of how and why personally I am so dang excited about this product. Okay, so let's talk about this. So as you take the product, it really is immediately beginning to work in your system. And we're going to kind of go through the timeline of a year, like what's happening as you take it on an ongoing basis. And the reason I wanted to speak to this is I've literally talked to people. I have a friend, she bought MetaPWR. She took the Advantage for 3 days. She said, I'm not feeling anything. And she gave the box away. And I literally just, I wanted to scream. And I'm like, this is not a product that if you take it once in a while, or you take it for a couple days, that you're going to have some revolutionary results. So it's important to give people proper expectations. And, I know we have samples, so maybe you sample someone for 3 days, but it's important for them to understand this isn't necessarily something you're going to see a huge benefit from for 3 days. Some people feel it right away. They might feel like a spike in energy, or they might sleep better, but a lot of people might not. And so it's important to be able to convey the importance that this is something that is going to give you a benefit over the long haul. We've come into this culture where we expect results to happen so fast, but it's taken, X amount of years to get wherever you are right now in your health status. It takes a while to see changes. So it's important to keep that in mind. So I'm just going to read this slide. So this is 5 hours. NAD+ is on the rise, and this is from taking it. Same day, more activity in your cells. Studies in humans show increased level of NAD+ metabolites in blood plasma within the first few hours of NMN supplementation, and they continue to rise steadily of NAD+ in cells and tissues. Your cells are already taking advantage of the increased NAD+ levels to support hundreds of critical cellular processes. So again, the NAD+ is the energy in every single cell that is making that cell do its proper function. That is really huge. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so here's another study. Rather than reading the rhetoric from the study, the big takeaway here is that NMN suggests that it's absorbed from the gut into blood circulation within minutes and transported into tissues. And they're showing this to be between 10 and 30 minutes. So from doing this, you are again increasing the NAD+, and that is leading to healthy mitochondria. That is huge. We're not talking about the LLB today, but you're increasing and improving your cellular health, right, with the MetaPWR. And then we love the LLB because that's giving you mitochondrial nutrition. So that's giving you nutrition on a cellular level. And then our essential oils come in and play their role. So think about that synergistic relationship between the MetaPWR, the LLV, and our essential oils, right? And then all the improvements from that, what we're hearing, Florence was sharing, my hair is growing back in, improved muscle benefits, improved skin, loss of inflammation, which also equals weight loss. I lost an inch of menopausal belly fat, right? You hit menopause, suddenly you have this belly fat around your belly that you cannot get rid of. It is so frustrating. And that just sort of melted away. The other thing that's really important is visceral fat. Did you know that visceral fat, that fat around the belly, leads to major health complications and disease? So we really want to watch our visceral fat. That's the fat around our organs, and keeping that in check, because that is one of the markers that actually ages us and causes a lot of problems. So this is all going to help bring that back into balance. Next slide. Okay, Dr. Josie's talking about mitochondria.
I love talking about the synergy between MetaPWR, LLV, and the oils all together. Really is the magic. So, okay, you took it at day 1, all this, it started increasing the stuff. Day 3, look, here's a study looking at human kidney cells in culture and showing that the NMN was increased. They're seeing mitochondrial replication, i.e. the mitochondria are happy and they're replicating, and that translates to better health and more energy. Okay. Let's go on. And great. So here we wanted to compare what happens at 2 weeks and 30 days potentially. So here we have MetaPWR Advantage. They really rushed to release this and get this to us, this incredible product. And so they had one preclinical human trial, and now they are in longer longitudinal efficacy clinical trials, which is great. We can't wait for that information, but they wanted us to see that their preclinical human trial showed that at 2 weeks, 1 week, 20% NAD rise in taking and working with the whole system of MetaPWR. And at 2 weeks, it went up 3 more percent, 23% at that 2 week marker. And so we will see more. Here is a different study with probably a synthetic form of an NMN, but it's showing that at 30 days, they got to a 40% increase in NAD. So that what's important here is, you can take all the whatever it is you want, but unless it's converting in the body to the thing that you want, it doesn't matter, right? So we love taking NMN because we need to get to NAD. But unless it's actually converting to NAD, it doesn't, that's the where's the beef. And so here it is, the beef. So 23% with Advantage at 2 weeks, and with a synthetic form of NMN getting a 40% increase in your NAD at 30 days. And that was at a higher dose. We don't know the dose of specific, as I said before, NMN in the MetaPWR Advantage complex, because it's such a synergistic whole food complex. It's 400 milligrams of the whole package. And so this is 250 milligrams of just straight synthetic NMN. But we like to this is what we have. Here's the information. What we know is that the NAD in the body is rising by 2 weeks and by 30 days. Okay. And then here is just, again, a study showing that at 6 weeks, they're seeing with that synthetic NMN, an improved muscle strength and performance in healthy older men, right? Like as we get older, it is harder to build muscle strength. Like you have to work way more than you did when you were younger. Partially that's because Aisha's going to talk about how much our NAD levels drop by 50. I'm 53. So they're dropping, and part of that aging where we see it's hard to build muscle strength is connected to dropping and lower NAD levels in the body. So here we see that starting to turn around.
Dr. Josie, can I just pipe in for a minute here about,
Yeah.
I mean, I know the study is done on men, many of them are, right? But as women, especially as as you move into that menopausal state, maintaining muscle mass is so important for our overall health, for our bone health, and for our longevity. So to have a product that can help us build muscle as we age is really a big deal, right? Because women are really prone to osteoporosis, muscle loss, more fat, etc. So this is really going to help keep our body composition in a healthier place for longevity and function. Something one of my yoga teachers said many, many moons ago is we die from the feet up. And if you think about that, that means the more sedentary we are, the more we are seated, the more we are not moving, that starts to create, a whole cascade of problems for us and our health. The more we can stay healthy and moving and strong with, good muscle balance, that's going to help keep us healthy and aging well. Okay, next slide. Here we go. Let's talk about skin. So I'm sharing my personal photos here, and I want to assure you these are not touched up. There is nothing else going on here besides just, the before and after. So The before photo was taken probably a couple months last summer before I actually started taking MetaPWR. And then the image on the right is that was taken about 4 months or 4 or 5 months after I was taking MetaPWR. So I think you can see for yourself if you look around my eyes. I've kind of always had like a lot of like baggy lines and stuff around my eyes. So those have improved. You can see like a little bit more firmness around the jowl. And one of the markers of aging is sagging skin and just kind of that decline in your overall skin. Like, you know, we see that as our face. Oops.
What?
Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. I lost you. The screen disappeared. Sorry about that. So as we age, again, things just start to sag, right? And, you know, I'm not going to admit I haven't loved that as part of the aging process. So one thing that I was really excited about is to see the shifts in my face and the quality of my skin from just taking the MetaPWR. And the other thing that I really notice is when we look at ourselves every single day, this is why we really recommend taking before photos, before measurements, and don't just rely on what the scale says, because your body composition, your measurements could be changing, and yet the scale may not be moving a lot because you might be creating more muscle and losing fat. As we know, muscle weighs more than fat. Your face might be changing, but because you look at it every day, you don't actually notice that it's changing. So if you have not taken any before photos, even if you've been taking MetaPWR for a while, just do it today and then look at it again in 2 or 3 months just to see a comparison. So if you think, oh, nothing's happening, you might be pleasantly surprised. I didn't realize how much my face had actually changed. And when I saw these photos side by side, I was like, wow, that's really pretty impressive. So go ahead and go to the next slide. And this is huge. And Dr. Josie is going to talk about the importance of healthy insulin sensitivity.
Well, as you know, our whole MetaPWR package, the line, is geared to be working intensely with healthy insulin sensitivity. So all the other products in the MetaPWR line are working synergistically then with the Advantage product. And so I just want to highlight that. But when we're just looking at NMN in the Advantage and noticing these other studies that are being done with NMN, they're finding that it can support healthy insulin sensitivity in skeletal muscle and regulate the expression of genes relating to muscle remolding and as well as telomere length. And so this also relates to your body's insulin sensitivity. So within the line of the whole package of all of the MetaPWR products, you know, we have these ones specifically geared about insulin sensitivity and blood glucose control, but know that the Advantage is also working with that, and the NMN and the NAD are a key component as well. And we have some great testimonies. So Aisha, you want to go over some of these? So wonderful.
We have so many testimonies, and if you have any of your own, please put them in the chat. I know, Florence, you have some incredible testimonies. We'd love to hear some more of those, but let me just read a couple of these. So again, most important, like, these are giving you systemic health benefits, right? And so as much as we're seeing on the outside, all that's happening on the inside is so important. one thing that I want to say about this that I've really experienced is the improvement of my mental health. In the last couple of years, I was suffering from really debilitating anxiety, depression, went through a divorce, et cetera, COVID, et cetera, et cetera. And that has been debilitating. And not only am I psyched that my face is looking more youthful, I'm way actually more excited about the stability of my own mental health and the improvement in my sleep and the improvement in my energy and some of those things that we can't see on the outside, but that are making a huge impact on my life. So here's a few other people's testimonials. I wanted to drop some updates on my journey. Type 1 diabetic. We have a lot of questions come in about MetaPWR and diabetes. My average insulin use has gone from 48 units a day to 30 units. Average glucose levels have dropped from 146 to 108. I'm 98% in the range of target, lost 8 pounds, about 3 inches off my tummy, sleeping better, making better food choices, better memory retention, and much more. Love, Meta.
Oh my God, I just have to, that is like very, very powerful. I have to say, like, I love that testimony so much from a type 1 diabetic, and being able to bring their glucose levels, into from 146 to 108 average, and then using less insulin. That is like direct correlation to this person being able to live longer and live healthier. Like, absolutely incredible.
Well, and I think we also just want to speak to for a moment, and Dr. Josie, maybe you can say a little bit more about this, but in the United States, we are facing a massive metabolic health crisis. And that is one of the reasons why doTERRA created this product, because I believe, tell me if I'm saying the statistic correctly, it's 13 out of 14 of us are on the path of getting diabetes. And, diet, lifestyle, et cetera, we live in a world that is very conducive to creating these disease states. And this is a product that can help turn that around. And not only that, but also this is designed to help support our cardiovascular health, right? Is there anything more you want to say about that, Dr. Josie?
No, that's incredibly accurate. Since I've been in medical school, they've actually changed the normal range because of blood glucose levels, and had to make it higher because hardly anyone is in the old normal. Like, all the normal of blood glucose has steadily been rising. And, it's not that that's changed in our bodies. It's that they just don't want to categorize everyone as pre-diabetic and diabetic. Maybe they do, but I just had to note that too. It's, yes, we are societally, we're sick. It's a problem.
And I think one thing too to address is that if you go to the doctor and do your blood work, and we actually highly recommend doing your blood work before you start taking MetaPWR, and then doing your blood work again later down the road, so you can really see what happens there, because we've seen people's drop in cholesterol, improvement in blood pressure, et cetera, is that if you go to the doctor and you are pre-diabetic, typically they just tell you to come back when you're diabetic and they'll give you medication. And there's actually things that you can do. And it's not about just MetaPWR, but about healthy lifestyle choices. This is part of your healthy lifestyle choices, right? So another testimonial is from Dawn. She has actually lost 32 pounds and has gone down 2 clothing sizes. Joyce, I think we need to mute you, or Erin, can you help with that? She's also, we've seen a lot of hair regrowth. So that's definitely something we're seeing a lot of. Improved sleep. It does improve your deep sleep cycle. Dr. O has talked about that. improvement in lean muscle. She's also feeling less anxious feelings, less joint discomfort. And speaking to that, that is the reduced inflammation. But we are not talking about this so much today, we also lose collagen as we age. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the body, and our loss of collagen as we age is what also contributes to those achy joints that we experience as we age, and also AKA moving into like arthritic states. She's also no cravings and firmer skins. And then there's a couple photos of her, and like, look at the difference in her face. And what I really notice is, again, well, one, there's that vibrancy, but also that reduction in inflammation, right? And you see, like, I really started to see how that kind of extra heaviness that a lot of us can carry, it's inflammation. You know, we call it fat, but that is a sign of inflammation, and inflammation leads to disease. And as we reduce that inflammation in the body, we get healthier. Okay, one more testimony. I've been enjoying the doTERRA MetaPWR products for 6 weeks. Here's my results: more energy, better sleep, discomfort in my lower back and hips gone, craving snacks and sweets gone, concentration improved, increased weights on workout. So here she's getting stronger, equipment 10 pounds. My granddaughter said my face looks slimmer, and I think the collagen is smoothing out some of the wrinkles, and she's down 5 pounds. So are there any other testimonials we want to share really quick from our group before we move on?
Are you wanting people to put that in the chat?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? We're almost done. Let's wrap it up, and then we can have a little time for shares. How about that? And or if you have anything you want to write in the chat. So go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, so here we are. So none of us have been on MetaPWR for 1 year yet because we haven't had it that long, but we are getting closer. And if you haven't started yet, it's, start now, get it on your order it. But we talk about this concept, and you've heard this when we talk about our essential oils: small, daily, frequent doses. So it's just like exercise, sleep, diet. Consistency is key for long-term results. And I want to share some things with you that I think are really important to know. As we talked about, NAD+ is lost in the aging process. We lose it about 4% a year, and it declines as much as 50% every 20 years. So the NAD+ we had in our bodies from our 20s into our 50s is about 50%. So just wrap your head around that for a minute. Again, this is the energy of your cells. Imagine running your car on 50% of the gas that you normally use. You just wouldn't go as far, right? So think of that in terms of our own human body. It's also really important. I think this is really important to know. Now, research has shown that 4 weeks after discontinuation of an NMN supplementation, your NAD+ levels return to their pre-supplementation levels. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you that. I know that might sound a little disappointing, but that's good to know. So imagine, because I've talked to people, they're like, yeah, I took it for a month and then I stopped. Nothing's really happening. Well, you're going to get those benefits for a little while moving forward. But when you stop taking it, essentially your NAD+ levels are going to go back to where they were. So that is why this is so important for, again, improving your overall health. And if you're coming from a place where you're struggling with a lot of health issues to begin with, or there's a lot of work to do, then again, think about this for the long-term plan. This is not a short-term fix. This is something to really help, again, your health span. So I think the last slide is just the sourcing of all the studies. Why don't you go ahead and go that slide? Yeah. So we're going to share this presentation, but you can stop the share. Those are just the sightings of the studies that we cited in the presentation. We do have a few minutes, and so I think this would be a great time for MetaPWR testimonials and or any questions that any of you have. I hope that you enjoyed that and found that inspiring.
That was fabulous, Aisha. Thank you so much. There was a question about the correct protocol with Advantage and when to take things. You know, there's all this question about, well, can I take it with Terrazyme? Can I take it with not? So I'm going to put in the chat for everybody a document that I put together with the official answers from doTERRA. But while I'm doing that, if anybody wants to speak to kind of what they've learned with how to figure out when to take it with all your other stuff, please feel free.
I'll share something. The biggest struggle a lot of people have that I've been working with is taking the MetaPWR Assist with a meal or before the meal. And recently, one of the doctors mentioned that you can take it when you start your meal, and it's okay. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But that way, and I believe it works up to about an hour, hour and a half from the time you take it. So that's a consistency of getting that in when you need to take it for that high carb meal is important. Also, I have found it a little difficult sometimes to figure out what is my high carb meal, because I have a tendency not to eat really high carbs. So I'm kind of being selective, like, okay, all right, I'll have this and it'll be okay. I don't have a glucose monitor. I've never had a glucose issue. So yeah, it's kind of a questionable that I think some people probably aren't sure if they're having a high carb meal. So it makes it hard to decide, should I be taking this MetaPWR Assist? Another really quick thing is the importance of taking that MetaPWR oil. And I put it daily in my water and found it very helpful. And somebody also had mentioned that it also was not only helping with the cravings, because that's what I've been saying all along, but it also is going to help with the fat maturation, which in turn, if you think about it, if you're not eating all those cravings, then you're not going to have all those fat cells forming. But anyway, those are two little things that I've kind of picked up over time. And then consistency, anybody got a plan here? Because I have had people who are not being consistent, and that's frustrating to me. I'm very consistent, so I'm not sure how to address them. I thought about accountability, with somebody, with myself or somebody else, is a issue that sometimes comes up. So anybody have some helpful hints?
That's great, Florence. I have suggestions about consistency. I'm very consistent as well. I love rituals, and I understand the power of moving the needle a little bit every day. So one thing you can tell people, and for us all, is put your supplements and everything that you want to take out on the counter. I'm also someone who likes like a nice, clean and tidy house, but my health is more important than my desire to have no clutter on the counters. So right next to our water filter, which is a countertop, we have a little jar with all the Advantage packets in it. And then we have all these little bowls. They're kind of like the bowls that you would put salt and pepper in as a chef. So they're tiny. And it's me and my husband. So we have 6 bowls. And it's our ritual. We wake up in the morning, immediately, the first thing that goes in my body is my Advantage. No excuses, no questions asked. And now I crave it. And then my husband's job is to set up all our supplements for the day. And we have to-go containers if he's working or I'm running the kids around. And so it's going to take a little bit of time to get into that ritual, but it's really helping people come up with their plan on how to do that. And then I wanted to point out about assist is you can take assist with every meal too, if you want to. I know they say take it with your heaviest carb, but I've heard from the doTERRA scene that you can actually take it way more if you want to. So you could take it with every meal, just something to put out there. If you are liking the way it feels, the assist does a lot more than just balance your blood sugar. I just found some research yesterday for a client that berberine also helps with high blood pressure. So there could be other reasons to do that, but habit stacking is key. Coming up with a ritual that becomes habitual. So it becomes like brushing your teeth. Now, if I wake up and I don't drink my Advantage, I feel like something is wrong. That's just how it's become for me, is that habitual thing, but also connecting people with their why. It's just like the business. Why are they investing money into this product? Why is it important to them, and help them remember their why?
Arin, I just wanted to add on top of that, to talk to people about habit stacking. And so if someone is not used to taking supplements, you know, many of us are, and we're committed to that. I too literally wake up in the morning and have them take it. Like, when do you brush your teeth? After you brush your teeth, take your MetaPWR. Like, add it to another activity they're doing on a daily basis, and ask them, what does your morning routine look like? What do you do every day consistently right when you wake up? And how can we support you? And then adding your MetaPWR to that routine and help come up with something that's going to work for them. And then also, the reason why we are so passionate about educating and having these ongoing conversations is the deeper that we have understanding and information. I mean, we certainly don't want to fire hose people with information when they're first learning, but these are talking points that you can bring up. You know, you can say, you know, studies have really shown that by not taking it, your NAD levels are going to drop. And if you really want to receive the full benefits of this, there's a lot of reasons to be taking this every day. And that's where you're really going to get the maximum benefit. So obviously they can decide, but you know, if someone says, oh, I've stopped taking it, then that's when you could come in and say, wow, well, did you know that after taking it, your NAD levels go back to the way they were, you know, before taking it? So you might want to reconsider that. You know, like, you can just kind of give them bits and pieces of that information so they can go, oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I do want the benefit. So I'm going to commit to this.
Also, just a little plug, if you have the financial ability and the desire, consider taking 2 Advantage a day. Sometimes I do it. I don't do it every single day, but I do it sometimes. And I love the way it feels.
I was also
today. So I just wanted to bring that out. Sorry, go ahead.
It's Heather. Sorry. I'm somewhere where, anyway, it doesn't matter. So a couple of things I was going to say. I have just, as Aisha's well aware, started taking it for probably the last couple of weeks. And I am so not a ritual person. Like, I like ritual, but anyway, it takes a lot of work for that to get in with me and stick. So I've found taking it before I go to bed is helpful. And I don't know if this has anything to do with it or not. And this may be to TMI or whatever, but I've noticed in the morning because my supplements, when I take them as well, I take those at night before I go to bed. That just seems to be what works for me. When I pee in the morning, now taking the Meta, my pee's not the yellow it once was. And I'm curious if it's helping me to actually at night when I'm sleeping, if I'm absorbing it more or not. I have no idea, just kind of curious. But anyway, that's what I've noticed. And then also I'm having more frequent bowel movements. So I'm thinking something's happening, even though I'm not necessarily feeling amazing. That's what I'm literally observing. Thanks for letting me share too much.
We love talking about bowel movements in our community, don't we? Very important. Okay, well, it's 10:59. Is there anything else we want to address here, Dr. Josie?
Erin and I were just writing. Yeah. So from the little bits from the docs, if you want to think about what are the most optimal of like combining things, consider taking Terrazyme with Advantage and taking the 2 assists together. So take your PB assist with your MetaPWR assist. So those are the recommendations for most optimal absorption. Okay.
I just wanted to break it down because I know a lot of people are asking, like, just tell me the protocol. So I take my Terrazyme and my Advantage first thing in the morning. I have heard from like the doTERRA docs that if you're over 60, you should take your Advantage at night. So if you're under 60, take your Terrazyme and Advantage when you wake up in the morning. If you're over 60, take your Terrazyme and Advantage before you go to bed at night. Then I take my LLV, my PB assist, and my assist with my meals. I don't always take an assist with every meal, but sometimes I do, depend how I'm eating. And then I personally drink my fiber when I'm having a sweet craving. I mix my fiber and greens together and I drink it anytime during the day, but I use it when I'm like, oh, I want some sugar right now, because it seems to cut that out for me. So I hope that kind of simplifies it. Sandra's saying, so the fiber with assist is not advised. I believe that's what they're saying, but they're saying you can if you really want to, but if you want to be like optimal, take it away from fiber and micronutrients. Mm-hmm. So I put that above, but that's from a doTERRA. That thing that I posted with the Google Drive, that's directly from doTERRA.
Marilyn, we're not saying not to take it if you're over 60. What we're saying is that studies have shown that if you're over 60, taking the Advantage of night at night has a more positive benefit. There's a Japanese study that speaks to that. Dr. O talks about that in his podcast about the Advantage that's on iTunes, if you want to learn more about that. Of course, you can still do AM or PM, do what works best for you. It's still going to benefit you. They're just saying if over 60, there might be a little additional benefit in taking it in the evening. Wonderful. Well, again, I hope all of you are as excited about all of this information as I was, and we are. And I hope it helps you feel informed and empowered and excited to continue to take your MetaPWR Advantage, because we were all here learning together and experiencing it together and growing together. So we love you all so very much, and we look forward to connecting with you next week. Anything else, Dr. Josie or Arin, before we wrap it up?
It sounds like there's a lot of questions.
There's a lot of questions.
How to take supplements. So should we have?
Yeah, we should do another one. I just want to wrap it up. Sometimes it helps me to understand the concept. Like rather than people just tell me, take it here, take it here, take it here. It's like, well, why? So the general idea is fiber is a binder. So think of it as like when you're taking, I mean, vegetables have nutrients and protein and fiber. But, you know, when you take a fiber supplement, it's all fiber. And so what fiber's role is to bind up, and we want it for the things we think of as not optimal, we want to bind that up and help pull it out of the body, right? That's what it's doing. So when you take it with things that you don't want to have bound up and taken out of the body, but you want to have like all of it absorbed, you kind of want to separate them. Okay. So they're saying 1 to 2 hours. And I like that idea. So from like not with vegetables, because it's a full thing and it's not full fiber, but you're taking like a fiber supplement, take that 1 to 2 hours, not only away from the Advantage, because you want all the goodies in there, right? You want all the goodies, but also think about the Microplex. What is that? In the LLV, that's our whole food vitamin and mineral supplement. We want all those goodies. Don't take that the same time you're taking a full-on fiber supplement. So does that make sense? Like separate the binder and the puller from the goodies that you want, the things that you want. And that's the same reason why people have said, well, if you're going to have some mac and cheese, not awesome, and it's going to spike our glucose, right? And our insulin, maybe that's a great time to have the fiber, right? Or pizza or pasta or bread, like any of that stuff, or cookie or cake or any of that kind of things. Yes, have the fiber then, because it's going to bind that up and help pull it out and not have your insulin spike. That's what the assist is doing, but that's also what the fiber is doing. So I hope that's helpful.
So you're saying, Dr. Josie, pick fiber or assist when you're eating your pizza?
Yeah. I mean, maybe you could you do both? I have to think that through. Have they said not to do assist with
They're saying you can take it. You can take assist with fiber, but optimal.
Not optimal, because I think the fiber might, like, they're thinking the fiber might overpower the assist. Yeah. Yeah. So choose. You know, and I love Erin's thing of it is sweet and it tastes like a super yummy hot apple cider or cold or a yummy like apple drink. So sometimes choose the fiber instead. But, you know, yes. So choose the assist or the fiber or just the fiber and no pizza. Oh, no.
I have something to say.
Yes.
Oh,
Dr. Mika, really quick about the fiber and the assist.
Yeah.
Can you see me, hear me, see me, whatever?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Josie, I think that if somebody's taking the pizza or the high carb mac and cheese or the pie and mac and cheese, you're going gangbusters, then because the fiber powder actually helps to balance out blood sugar, right? It has that artichoke fiber in it, right? So those are prebiotics, but they're also blood sugar balancers. So if you're saying I want to have the pizza and I'm going to have the cake, then yeah, have the fiber powder and the assist with that high sugar, high carb meal.
Yeah, like use all your tools.
Yeah, use all your tools.
So, and Marilyn says, are you talking about the fiber in food or our nutritional fiber? We're talking about both. So think of it as a scale, Marilyn. If you're having pizza or cake and you have a big bowl of salad or like cooked greens, that's a lot of fiber. Eat them at the same time. Then, or you have our fiber powder. It's easy. You don't have to cook up all the greens, and it's even more powder because it's just powder. It's just fiber, right? Doesn't have the protein and all the other things that the greens have in it that are great. So it's just more tools. It's just that fiber powder is just fiber. So it's like super fiber. But it's a great tip that if you are going to indulge in something sweet or carby, bring some fiber in, however you can do that. And the assist.
yeah. So we are 7 minutes after the hour. We want to be cognizant of time. Maybe in the future, we'll just have a big Q&A roundtable so we can continue to dive into these questions. And but we're going to wrap it up for today. So again, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.